Hey everybody, and welcome to the Creative Differences podcast. I'm Colin.
I'm Gabby.
And hey guys, it's Demi. And surprisingly, Dallas is not here with us today,
Yeah,
so I'm going to take his place. This is the first time ever I've had to take Dallas's place.
Hell yeah.
I thought it wasn't going to happen. I thought he was going to be the constant.
I never thought it would happen.
Well,
Yeah.
Dallas,
He's abandoned us.
Okay,
Dallas,
no,
I was
jeez,
depending on you.
Okay, but here's the thing.
You
Even
were
if Dallas
one
were here, he
constant.
wouldn't have seen this movie.
No, but he saw another movie.
But like,
Yeah, well.
which one did he see?
He saw Dr. Sleep.
He did.
Oh, he
Which,
did.
for the record, everybody, before we actually start this review, he really liked Dr. Sleep. So if you're into that sort of thing, he would recommend it.
We also...
He'll probably have a written review out sometime
Yeah,
soon.
Dallas writes his own reviews on a blog, and we usually share them to the Creative Differences page, so look for that. But this episode is about Last Christmas, because all three of us saw that.
Wah, wah, wah.
Oh, Dallas isn't here to do his version.
I know.
Yeah, it's really good.
This
Yeah.
is the best
We're
version.
just missing things left and
We
right.
saw Last Christmas. For those of you guys who don't know what Last Christmas is about, because you're not interested in those types of things, or I don't know, you missed all the TV spots and trailers.
Or
It's
you haven't seen it.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It's about a woman named Kate, and Kate is very self-destructive and has been going about her life in the worst way possible ever since she got sick a year earlier. And she meets a guy named Tom, and he kind of helps her become a better person and realize that she needs to be a better person.
Yeah. More like she needs to realize it because he doesn't really do much.
Yeah, he doesn't really do much of anything, but she realizes that she needs to be better by hanging around this guy.
Well, because he's better.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's just better. He makes her feel bad.
Look
so
up.
she starts being better. Yeah.
What did you guys think of the movie?
I liked it. I liked it a lot. Like, it's a rom-com. It does rom-com things, and I'm totally fine with that. Also, this one, trying not to get into spoilers, but there is a twist to it.
And you called it.
I did,
Like,
and
Colin-
I'm very
Colin
proud of
called
it.
it in
super detailed.
first day of September, super detailed,
Yeah.
called the twist.
I did,
And we have like written proof.
and I'm proud of it.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was fun. Emilia Clarke,
Oh,
honestly,
God, that
I
woman.
like her more in the rom-coms that she's done than in Game of Thrones. I like her in Game of Thrones, don't get me wrong. But the rom-coms, it feels like she is just having a better time.
She gets to be herself.
Definitely is.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it comes across, and it's great. Like
Yeah.
this and Me Before You, like that's the version of her that I want to see more of.
Same. I love her.
Gabby, what do you think of the movie?
I thought it was delightful. It was definitely the plot of a Hallmark movie. Like I've definitely seen this more than once. But I absolutely loved it. It was like a Hallmark movie, but elevated. So it like had all the corny moments there, and it was beautifully directed, and it had George Michael music. It was just delightful. I'm really happy about it, and I'm sad it's getting negative reviews because they're wrong. They're wrong.
This was on my honorary list for most anticipated movies last year. So I was really excited to see this one, and I liked it a lot because it was exactly what I was expecting it to be. It was a cheesy rom-com in the style of Hallmark movies, but it was high budget.
Yes.
And it had Emilia Clarke and Henry Golding in it, and Emma Thompson and Michelle Yeoh.
Yep.
And yeah, I was like excited about that. And plus, anytime you give me anything where Emilia Clarke gets to basically smile and use her eyebrows while she's acting,
And
I'm
be a
gonna love it.
total spaz. Just be who she is. Like,
And it's funny because it's like, oh my goodness, that's Emilia Clarke. But it's also not, because Emilia Clarke is not that much of a, I don't think she's that much of a hot mess.
no, I don't think she's self-destructive.
Or self-destructive, yeah,
No, I
Kate.
think she's just like delightful.
She's very delightful. What did you guys think of like the characters and stuff like that? Because I really liked Kate and I really related to Kate. I felt like Kate was a relatable just person, just in
Yes.
general.
Yeah.
Except, I feel like she was really selfish.
But
I mean, yeah.
that was
At the
part of
beginning.
I think that was part of her being self-destructive though.
Yeah, no, I know, but she was like more selfish than the average bear. I feel like.
But I also-
in general, I do really.
I gotta
feel
wonder
that.
how much of that was due to her situation. There is a small part of her that kind of has to be selfish. She took it too far.
Yeah.
But I do think there was some of that, like, my life is terrible, and if I don't try to focus on myself and improve it, I'm never going to get anywhere.
That's fair.
Yeah, I just really loved that character. Just I was like, you're a real person.
I think that's also the appeal. So like Hallmark movies like catch a lot of flack from people, not the people that like them, but like
Obviously.
but I think part of it is because the female protagonists are very relatable. They're like somebody that's putting their job first, but is like quirky or like has something about them. And I feel like
Really,
that's
I've
what
always
she was.
found those characters very like unreal for me. That's why I
Yeah.
don't watch Hallmark movies.
Oh my God, no, Hallmark movies are
But
the best.
I watched a couple of them and I have enjoyed a couple of them. But this time around they were like there were things that Kate would do or Kate would say about her life, and I was just like, ooh, yeah, that hit a little too close to home. I get that.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think like just being, I don't know, in your 20s and feeling
She's supposed
like
to be
your
26
life.
in this movie.
Yeah, and like being in your 20s and feeling like your life isn't where it quote unquote should be. And then, and like in her case, she had been sick for a very long time. So she was used to being the sick person, and then she wasn't sick anymore. So it kind of like completely messed with her identity.
I also really like Tom, even though there's not really much to Tom,
No,
except that he's just the perfect guy. And that's fine.
Yeah.
He's so charming because it's Henry Golding.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I could
And
watch
his
so many
smile.
rom-coms with Henry Golding. in it.
Honestly, yeah.
Just keep casting him, and also Amelia.
And
Yes,
like
oh my gosh,
that is
please.
one of the things that like it's a rom-com, so you kind of just have to go with that he is literally perfect. Like, oh man, she doesn't know where he is. Oh, he was volunteering in a homeless shelter
Of
because
course
that's
he
what he
was.
does. Like he's just perfect, and that's fine because it's a rom-com and he can be perfect, and it's what you want anyway. So
Yeah.
It's also not about him. So
Right.
we don't have to flesh him out too much because it's not about him. It's about her and her journey.
That's what I really liked about this movie was like it's marketed heavily as like a romantic comedy, and it is a romantic comedy, but it's really mostly about Kate getting her life together and
Yeah.
not so much about these two
that
falling
was
in love.
one of the
Exactly.
things that I noticed in the movie is that it's not the romance angle of it really isn't. It's not there that much. Like they don't.
Yeah.
It was surprising to me that, I mean, this is a bit of a spoiler, but they don't have sex. I mean, she kind of wants to, but he never seems like he's interested. And it's like, all right, cool. We're just not going to go that far. And like,
Yeah,
that's interesting.
It's about Kate healing.
Yeah.
And about being
Yeah.
a better person, and I like that. I also like the way that this movie's shot. I think it's a very pretty movie. There's my one complaint about this, or I've got two complaints about this movie. One, it feels like it's trying to do too much at times. Like the Brexit storyline that they have in there
Okay,
is so
I don't
barely
know
there that it could have
what
been taken out.
that
I
was in this
appreciated
movie
that.
for.
Well, I think it's about, because Kate also has identity issues, so I think it was supposed to be about that, but it's so barely in there that I was like, you could have cut it out. And
That's the
everything
thing
would be
is it's
fine.
in like two scenes, and I'm like, this is a good message to have, but if you're going to have this message, develop it further.
Or
Yeah.
like have it in the background the whole time.
Yeah, so I thought it
Yes.
was like they were trying to do too much and they never really got to do
I
all of
think
it.
the reason that didn't work for me is because it didn't really relate to Kate. It was her parents' fear, but it wasn't really hers.
Yeah. And I feel like it should have been hers because she also emigrated.
Yeah, I
Even
think if
though
it had
she
been
like is
better integrated into her life and what was going on with her, I think it would have worked better.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
also there were a couple of like, there were some editing things in this movie that I was like, that's not a choice I would have made. I wouldn't have cut there. That was kind of jarring. Oh,
Like what?
you should have stayed on the a moment where she goes to her sister's house. Her sister is talking to her from the front porch from on top from the stairs, and you have that really nice close-up of Emilia Clarke as she's listening to her speak, but she's not looking at her. She's just listening to her, but you can see her sister behind her in the background over her shoulder. I really liked that shot. And then they cut to a wider shot from behind Emilia Clarke and even behind the sister. And I was just like, this shot is not doing anything for me. Like the last shot had such great, like using like editing, you can use it so much to give a message. Like I chose this shot to say something, and you were saying something with that shot that you're not saying with this new shot.
Okay, I understand.
And I felt like maybe they just felt like this shot is playing out for too long. But I was like, no, you should have held. This is nice, because Emilia Clarke's, her acting as well as the framing of the shot was so nice that when they cut away from it, I was like, we've lost it.
Oh.
There were a couple of moments like that in the movie, but that was like my only like big complaint about the movie. Otherwise, I love it. This movie gave me Emilia Clarke singing. I would have liked more Emilia Clarke singing because I love her voice, but it's okay.
That
Like,
kind of touches on something I was thinking about this morning about the movie is like, because lately we've been getting Rocket Man and
Yesterday.
Bohemian Rhapsody. Well, no, I'm not so much Yesterday.
This one reminded me of Yesterday. Not gonna
But
lie.
see, that's the thing, right? To me, it's like we're getting these like biopics about famous singers and yada yada. I like this and the concept of Yesterday. I haven't seen Yesterday, but I like the concept of that more, where it's like we want to use these bands or this artist's music as part of the story, but also there's a story on top of it that doesn't really have anything to do with that.
Yeah.
So if you like the music, that's there, but that's not all that there is.
Yeah. So
I
it's
like that
it's
there's
not
an
just
additional
for
layer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. I do like Last Christmas because I've never really listened to George Michael, and
Me neither.
And I loved Yesterday,
Yeah.
and I don't really listen to the Beatles.
And that's a clever choice, I think, on the part of the filmmakers, because you get the audience that loves the Beatles, you get the audience that loves George Michael, but then you also have something for people like us that aren't huge fans, but like the concept of the
And
movie.
it can introduce people to the music, or maybe to songs that they didn't know existed from like a wider catalog.
Because I love the end credit song on Last Christmas. Every time I hear it while we're at work, I'm just like, yeah, this is, I like this, man. This is dope.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I like George Michael. I didn't realize how much of his music that I knew. I thought literally I just knew
Last Christmas.
And then it turns out, nah.
Yeah, me too. I was like, I didn't realize I knew this many songs.
Yeah.
So would you guys recommend this movie?
Yes.
If you are a fan of rom-coms, yes. If you're not, I don't think it does anything unique or interesting enough that it'll get you into rom-coms.
I think as a movie, it's just like, it doesn't do anything spectacular. It doesn't do anything amazing. And I don't think it's setting out to.
It feels like it knows exactly what it is.
Exactly, yeah.
And if you're into that, by all means, go see this. I think you'll have a great time.
Yeah. It's got especially if you like Hallmark Christmas movies, this is right up that alley.
A new Christmas classic to add to the collection.
Yeah.
I probably will actually watch this every Christmas along with like Love
It's
Actually
so
and the Santa Claus and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I do really
or
like this
Elf
movie.
and stuff.
You guys, man, if you're into rom-coms and stuff like that, I would highly recommend that you guys check out this movie.
I agree.
I'm going to go see it again. By the
Tonight?
time, by the time that this podcast comes out, I'll have seen it twice.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, so next up, I wish Dallas was here because this is supposed to be his part. He's supposed to do that. What's happening? What's up with you? What are you guys watching? What are you guys listening to? What are you doing? What are you reading? What's up? Section of the show.
Okay, I'm gonna start that. I love that you went into it.
I tried to do it, man. I tried to do like he does. I said I was gonna take his place today, so that's what we're doing.
So over the weekend of November 9th and 10th, I went to a music festival called Tropicalia, and that's all I have is I went to that music festival, and it was amazing. It's basically a music festival that's, I guess it's open to everybody, but it's definitely marketed towards Latinx people, especially Latinx people that grew up in the United States with parents that speak Spanish and were likely immigrants. Because day one was only groups in Spanish, and it was classic groups, and all they did was play their hits, and everybody was like, yes. And then the second day was how do I explain it? It was chill rock vibes from bands that sing in Spanish and English predominantly, and also a lot of bands from California that have a chill, I play this music as I'm going up the 101 to NorCal, and I can see the ocean the whole time, that kind of music. And it was so great. Day one was absolutely fantastic, and day two rocked as well. My favorite was day one because I had a lot more emotional attachment to the music. And if anybody out there is Latino, day one had Hombres G, Los Enanitos Verdes, Paquita del Barrio, Los Tigres del Norte, Natalia Lafourcade. You guys have never heard of these people.
I have no idea what's happening. So that's why we're so quiet. We're still here, guys.
Yep.
So these are just groups that were there. And I mean, I've been looking forward to this festival for a couple months. Last year, Cardi B was there and Morrissey, I think, because brown people love Morrissey.
According to Ant-Man and the Wasp, yes.
Yes, no, we do. Oh yeah, because
that was a joke.
I know, and he wasn't wrong. I rolled my eyes because it was true. I'm if you want to know, I thought my taste in music was unique, and it turns out no, I'm just all the other people that grew up like me. So yeah, and then my favorite thing was the memes that came out of day one and day two at Tropicalia. There was a picture with just a bunch of gangsters hanging out with goth kids, and the caption on it was day one Tropicalia hanging out with day two Tropicalia.
Oh my god!
And it was hilarious because it's accurate. Or one of them was snakeskin boots and then Vans, and it was day one Tropicalia and day two Tropicalia. And it was just it was perfect. It was hilarious and amazing, and I had a great time.
All right, Colin, what about you? What have you been up to? What you been listening to? What you watching? Playing?
Well, shit, I just think since the last time I was on the podcast, because it's been a bit, I have played the entirety of The Outer Worlds, which is an RPG that was made by Obsidian, and they made, I think, the first two Fallout games and then Fallout New Vegas. I have not played the first two Fallout games, but New Vegas is fun, and New Vegas is kind of the Fallout game that everybody wants the series to be. as opposed to the other entries in the series. But the Outer Worlds is basically you are a person who was on a colony ship. You were frozen on the colony ship because you were in transit, and then something happened and the ship broke down, and this scientist dude wakes you up and is like, hey, so this place where you are is a colony of Earth, and it's run by corporations, and the corporations suck. So I'm going to need you to help me take down the corporations and also unfreeze the other people on this ship with you. It's fun. I like games that give me the option to not have to shoot people if I don't want to. And this is one of those games. So like I built my character and I was like, I'm going to put all of my skill points into dialogue options and not into guns or weapons because I don't want to do that. And so there were many times throughout the game where they'd be like, all right, go kill this guy. And I go over and I talk to the guy and like, no, we can compromise. I don't need to kill you. Cool, we're good. Or
wow.
I'm going into an area and there's a ton of like thugs there or whatever. This is their like zone. And if I go in there, I'm going to have to fight them. But no, I can talk to them and I skip that entire fight.
You just maxed out on charisma.
You're
100%.
That's how I like to play RPGs. Because
amazing.
The thing is, it just...
That's what I would do.
Most of the game is going to be talking to people anyway. And if I'm talking to people, I always hate... Because if you don't have the skill high enough, it'll show you the option, but you won't be able to pick it. And that is the most annoying thing. When I look at it and it's like, well, if I had just put more points into this skill, I could do that. And now I can't.
Is that the game you were playing when I came over that night to play Kingdom Hearts?
Yes.
Me and Colin have this thing where we'll do like gaming nights where I'll sit on his TV and play Kingdom Hearts games and he'll sit on his computer and play whatever he's got going on.
That's so nice. I like those kinds of hangouts. It's like I'm in a room with you and we're each doing our own thing, but we're together.
Yeah, we're going to do that again hopefully soon because I got to get through Kingdom
We'll
Hearts.
figure it out. But yeah, like it was just so much fun to be able to play the game the way that I wanted, because I think a lot of games like that, it's you have a weapon so you have to use it. And you do have to shoot monsters and stuff, but like, yeah, you can go through it and not shoot a lot of people if you don't want to, and that's always fun. Plus, it's got a really strong like anti-capitalist message, which I am all for.
I'm down. I like it.
All right, so what have I been doing? I watch way too much TV.
I was going to say too much.
I'm not going to talk about any of the TV shows, actually. A couple nights ago, I watched a movie called Before I Fall. It stars Zoe Deutsch, who I'm a big fan of, if you couldn't tell from our Zombieland review. It's based off of a young adult novel that kind of takes a spin on the Groundhog Day sort of thing, where basically this girl got this like really awesome, like, I don't know if I'd say awesome group of friends. She's got this group of friends that she's like super tight knit with, and they seem like they're an awesome group of friends, but they're also the mean girls of the school.
Oh no.
And so they go to a party.
Is she mean like them, or?
She's complicit. That's her main issue, is that she's very complicit, but because she's complicit, she takes part in being mean to other people. So they go to this party, and when they're leaving the party, they get into a car accident. And then she wakes up the next day, and not the next day, it's the same day as she just lived. So she has to keep living it over and over again, and she's trying to figure out, like, she's not even trying to figure out how to break the loop. After a while, she's just like, I'm just going to live this day the way that I want to live it.
That's interesting to me, because I would assume that this would follow a path of her becoming a better person.
Yes, that's
but you
the
don't
point.
need to become a better person if it was a car accident, and that has nothing to do with you being a bitch.
Well, so you find out later why it has to do with her being a bitch.
Cool.
Yeah, she kind of, there's like one time that she goes through the day where she's just like, you know what? I'm going to say and do whatever the hell I want.
Because it doesn't matter.
Because it doesn't matter. It's going to happen again. So it's just like a day of her just like, she says things that like she normally wouldn't say. She like totally pisses off one of her friends.
Yeah, sure.
And it like messes up their friendship for the day or whatever. But yeah, there's one day where she actually manages to make sure that they don't go to the party. They don't have to drive home that night. They don't get into the accident. But she wakes up the next day and it's the same day all over again.
Oh, they don't even get into the accident? It still happens?
Yeah, she lived through it and she still has to do it all over
Okay,
again.
that's interesting.
So yeah, but the movie is about her becoming a better person, and I wasn't particularly fond of the ending, but I liked the movie. It's a solid film. It's like the teenage dramatic version of Groundhog Day.
Okay.
Because it's like teenagers being teenagers. Sometimes they're really mean. Most of the time, they all have really big issues that nobody else is seeing, which is why either you're being mean to somebody or that person just doesn't seem cool to you, and maybe you should be more, open. Yeah, and empathetic, which is what the movie's about. It also stars Halston Sage, who plays Ainsley on Prodigal Son, which is one of the reasons why I watched it, because I was like, oh, I wanted to watch this for Zoe, but Halston's in this movie too. So I think I'm going to watch this now that I know that she's in it. Halston is now on my actors to watch list because she's really good. I enjoyed it. It was heavier than I was anticipating, but it was cool. I like the look of it. If you're into like Groundhog Day sort of pieces, then I would recommend it. And if you're into teenage dramas, I guess. If you're not into teenage dramas, don't watch it.
Yeah. So I guess Groundhog Day movies. How many of those have there been? Like Happy Death Day, Groundhog Day, and now this one?
Yeah.
There's probably more.
And then obviously
I'm sure
TV
there are
episodes
more.
do it all the time.
oh yeah, every TV episode ever. Every TV show
does like
or like
one of
long
these.
running TV show does one. They do a musical episode and they do that like a
Groundhog Day episode.
yeah Groundhog Day episode.
So yeah, that's what I've been up to. Next up on our list, we have news.
Hell yeah.
All right, so the first thing, I'm going to be the only one able to talk about it.
All right.
They just announced that DC Universe's Titans got picked up for a season 3.
Is it going to be on DC Universe or is it moving to HBO Max? Do we know what's up with that?
I'm assuming
hate
that it's only
HBO
going to be on the
Max.
DC Universe streaming service. I haven't seen anything else about it being on HBO Max.
Okay.
What even is HBO Max?
I don't
Girl,
know. That's a conversation
don't
for a different
know.
day. I like Titans. I really love the actors that they've cast. I think that they're really great as the characters that they play. I think the characters are really well done on the show. I remember when the teaser first came out, I wasn't super excited about the show, but I've really enjoyed the show so far. There are pacing things that I don't like about the show, but it's cool. I'm glad that they got a season 3. It means that we get to stick with these characters.
One of the questions that I have, and I don't think you'll be able to answer this because I don't think anybody can, is how does it work with like streaming shows? Because you don't have like Nielsen numbers.
Yeah.
So how do they track how well a show is doing? I mean, I guess you can see what people have clicked on and how long they've watched videos, and that'll tell you. But like,
Yeah. I know that when Amazon did like The Boys, they were like, this is how many people watched the show within the first week that it was out.
see, that's an interesting thing though, because you're not with TV. It's always been confusing to me because when you're talking TV, you don't technically like movies. Every movie I want to see, I pay for it, so you know what I'm trying to watch and yada yada. With TV, it's like I don't necessarily have to pay for single thing that I watch. So how are studios recouping that money that they're spending?
It's advertisements.
Oh.
No, it's ads, isn't it?
For like Netflix and stuff?
Oh, not for Netflix, but like for network
Oh,
television
for
and
like
stuff,
network television, it's
Yeah,
ads.
it's
So like
ads.
the more popular a show is, the more they can charge for an ad that's being showed in like commercials.
Okay.
And the demographic that matters is like ages 18 through 49.
But then how does that
something
work
like
with something like, say, HBO, where
Well-
one of their things is that they have the entire show and there are no ads in the middle?
Well, HBO charges a fee to be able to watch it, right?
Yeah, because it's
if
a cable channel.
Yeah. So
Oh,
if
okay,
a show's
okay.
really, really popular, what I'm guessing is like something like Stranger Things, people will join Netflix to watch the new season,
Okay.
right? So that's going to be a show that they prioritize because it brings in revenue.
Oh,
Right?
gotcha.
That's why Disney Plus is doing the thing where they're doing weekly instead of doing binge watching, because Netflix has the issue where people will drop their membership after the show that they like is over
but
and then come
then
back.
couldn't you do the same thing for Disney Plus? Be like, you know what? I'll check back with The Mandalorian in 2 months and I'll watch all of it and then I'll leave.
I
Could,
think
but
the
most
smartest
people
thing
don't want to do that.
Yeah, or I think the smartest thing that Disney's done is offer an option where you pay for the whole year at once.
And Netflix is starting to do the week by week model too instead of doing binging.
Honestly, it's smarter on their part as a business to do that.
Yeah, because they're losing money by people just dropping off and then coming back for like, oh, this show's already on. If I'm only back for like a month.
And also, it keeps excitement for a show going for longer, right?
Yeah, there's this.
They released all of
The thing about binging is you miss that feeling of like
anticipation.
with Game of Thrones, like every week everybody has something to talk about.
Right.
Like, we were all on the same page.
Imagine that
Right.
with like Stranger Things or like Game of Thrones and Walking Dead.
It's hard to talk about Stranger Things with people because you don't know where they are.
Yeah.
Or you watched all of it in 2 days and then...
You're me, and then I've watched the whole thing and I don't know where else everybody is. But by the time everybody's done,
Or just it kind
it's
of all
gone.
bleeds together because you watched it all at once.
That too.
Yep.
Because I do have that issue. It all does
Yeah,
bleed
sure.
together after a while. All right, so next up, the Soul teaser came out this week. Did you guys watch that?
I did.
Yes. What do you guys think?
It's interesting. So, okay. I don't know. Okay.
Wow, I didn't think that this was going to be that difficult.
No, because it's like there's what I feel about it, then there's the discourse, then there's...
Yeah. I was
you know?
feeling, I agreed with the discourse.
You can agree with the discourse and still like what you're seeing.
Anyway,
Yes.
I mean, I like the teaser and the concept of it.
Yes.
I think An issue that I had that's purely my issue is it felt like they were trying to go as photorealistic as they could for the backgrounds, and then the characters weren't. And so it was really jarring, and I didn't like that.
Oh, I liked that contrast. I thought.
See,
it was
I didn't
unique.
because I thought I'd want the world to be more stylized to fit the characters. Otherwise, it looks like you just dropped animated characters almost in the real world, and I'm just not. When you like, it's a thing that I don't like. When animation gets so realistic, it doesn't work for me. I'd rather things be more stylized.
Fair. I was looking forward to an animated movie that was going to have a middle-aged black main character, and then they were like, and he's going to be this cutie character actually for most of the movie, and I was like, no, that's not what I wanted.
It is kind of weird to me that happened. The outcry happened now when they said that at D23, but I guess maybe people didn't pay attention.
I don't think I understood that.
Oh, because they showed concept art of him as a ghost. Like
I still don't quite know if
understand
that's what
the
we're
concept.
actually getting.
What, him as a ghost?
I'm
for
like,
most
is
of the
that
movie?
going to be the whole movie? Is he going to be a ghost for most of the movie?
Well,
Because
I
David
mean-
Diggs' character is also going to be in the movie, and he's probably not going to be a soul.
I
I
would.
don't know, man.
I mean, I feel like it'd be weird if
And his mom's
you
in the movie
call
too.
the movie Soul, and you show in the teaser him becoming a ghost, and that's not most of the movie. Like, I feel like I don't know how Princess
That's
and the
fair.
Frog was advertised.
Oh no,
but-
Princess and the Frog. You knew from jump
from
she was going to be a
jump.
frog.
Right,
the
and
whole
I
movie.
feel like this is kind of a similar thing, that maybe he'll come back to himself at the end because he's realized what he wants or whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But I feel like, you spend most of the movie as a soul so that you can explore the afterlife and all that, and you go on the journey to figure out who you need to be.
I feel like this is one of those things where it could go. I don't know. I don't want to prejudge it too early.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like it's one of those movies where you could jump back and forth
Yeah.
The
that
thing
between
is-
the two, and I don't know if that's what they're planning to do, or if it is going to be like people are saying. If it is going to be, he's just going to be this cutesy soul thing for the entirety of the movie, which I don't mind. I wish that we would have less of that with black characters.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
that's not to say just because that piece of criticism is correct, that's not to say that this movie isn't going to be good, though.
One of the things that I am looking forward to is, it's cutesy, but I wonder how deeply this movie is going to get into death. Not what happens when you die necessarily, but when you're no longer around. How
they
it's going to get into that.
That's
it feels
what
like they started the conversation with Coco, so we'll see how far they push
Right.
it this time.
You know how Inside Out was this movie was basically eventually used by parents as a vehicle to talk to their children about emotions.
Yes.
I feel like this movie might end up being a vehicle on how to talk to your children about death. Because
That might be
Coco
nice.
was
I mean, Coco's, it is what it's a cultural experience.
Yeah.
This is an education in somebody else's culture in the way that they look at death.
yes.
This is just a
It's just
very
death.
general death conversation
Yes. Exactly.
with jazz.
Exactly with jazz.
Still doing what La La Land could.
Okay. Ooh,
Yes!
Ooh, I was
Saving
waiting.
jazz.
I was waiting
jazz.
for you to do that. I was, girl.
And with that, we can move on to the next
I was
topic of
literally about to say.
conversation.
Yes, thank you.
All right, so our third piece of news is that James Dean is going to be returning to the screen in CGI for a Vietnam War film.
Sounds like a bad idea.
Sounds like something we should not be doing.
Yeah.
Going way too far there, guys. Part of me is I feel like we knew that it was going to get to this point.
But
Yes,
how-
we did.
Yeah, we did.
We started de-aging people with CGI. We started creating people with CGI.
Or the moment that Tupac was a hologram, I was like, well,
But how? Okay, so
That feels different.
Well, Tupac being a hologram does feel different because that could be we have video footage of him performing his song, so that's basically what this hologram is.
That's just a big projection.
Right.
No, I know,
This is weird because they're writing a film
Yes.
that he's going to star in, but that means that the hologram has to they have to write lines for the hologram to say, and it somehow has to get across. I'd feel like James Dean saying those lines.
What's happening is you're going to take an actor, you're going to put dots on his face, and he's going to actually be doing the role that James Dean is supposed to be playing.
yeah. Is
Oh.
that dude going to get credit?
Well, that
that's
is
not cool. And what are you going to
far less
underpay that
interesting
dude?
conceptually.
And how's that dude going to get paid? Is he going to get paid
I mean, yeah,
what he
they're going
deserves?
to pay him, but I don't know if he's going to get paid the salary of an actor, even though he's the one doing
Exactly.
the acting. We did it in Rogue One.
So it's just a
Fine.
skin?
But
That
that
is
was different.
that was a character
That
that was
was-
brought back. That wasn't a actor that died before the Vietnam War being cast as a character in the Vietnam War. It's vastly different, and it's problematic. There are so many new actors.
Right? There are so many actors who
There's so
who
many people
deserve a
that
shot.
need work. And like, it just feels like...
It feels like a disrespect to James Dean as well.
Well, his family okayed it, so this doesn't have to do with him. I think it's more like...
His family okayed it, sure, but...
It's going to be cheaper for this company to do this than it is for them to get an actor and pay that actor well. Yeah.
Is it actually, because you still gotta pay the dude, and then you gotta pay the CGI artists who are gonna have to make James Dean.
That's true, but like CGI artists are like famously underpaid.
I don't know, man. It still seems like a bad idea. Even Disney
didn't
do that with Carrie Fisher.
Yeah, and like, wait, they didn't?
No.
Wait, the new, because they did it with Carrie Fisher, but they did it in like Rogue One.
Oh, that was Rogue One. But like Carrie Fisher was still alive when that happened. Like, no, this is legit, like...
No, you're right.
For The Rise of Skywalker, Disney didn't go, hey, let's just make a CGI version of Carrie Fisher. Now, it was talked about.
Yeah.
But it wasn't done.
You know, in Gladiator, there was a character that, like, the actor died in the middle of filming. Ooh. So what they did some really early, like, CGI work with that actor and, like, extra scenes that they had shot of him already. But, like... It's just not the same.
It feels like this is like a really gray area, but there is like a point where you cross a line, and this feels like the line.
Yeah, it feels like the line. It also feels like
grave digging.
A cheap ploy. Yes. But I don't want to say too much about like James Dean's legacy or anything, because like I said, his family did okay it. What I don't like is where people are like, oh, he would have loved to play this part. And I'm like, how do you know? He made 3 movies. Like, it's not like you have a giant body of work to say, yeah, look at his work.
It's not like Marilyn Monroe where it was like, yeah.
That's my thing I've always wondered. Is James Dean famous because he was good at acting, or famous because he only had 3 shots and then he died?
It's a mixture of both.
Because he was nominated for an Oscar, and I think he won posthumously because, but I'm pretty sure he won because he had died. That would happen.
Yeah, Rebel Without a Cause is an incredible.
Yeah, the thing is, he had 3 movies, and they were like huge movies. It was like East of Eden, Rebel Without a Cause, and I can't remember the other one. But those 2 are like classic, like, and they were huge hits.
It's kind of like River Phoenix being dead. It was like the loss of like a great talent that hadn't quite gotten to do everything that they should have done.
Or like it hadn't reached their potential. You just kind of got a taste of them, and then they were gone. But yeah, River Phoenix is probably like the best, most modern comparison.
All right, we should move on to the next and our last piece of news. It's a little happier. They released a trailer for Scoob, which is a new Scooby-Doo movie that's going to be theatrically released. I remember when we saw the title for that movie, and all of us were like,
Scooby-Doo?
Why would you call it Scoob?
Because they want to appeal to the children. I don't know.
You know what? Okay.
Well, also that's what Shaggy calls Scooby-Doo.
He does call him Scoob a lot.
He calls him Scoob.
So what did you guys think of the teaser?
I thought it was adorable, but you guys were saying something about it.
Well, I mean, I liked it. First of all, I really, really like the animation style.
I agree with you.
Like, you can clearly tell who the characters are, but it still looks distinct. I don't know. I like it a lot. The trailer looks interesting. I'm kind of confused as to... Like, it seems like it's placing most of the emphasis on Shaggy and Scooby's relationship as opposed to the entire gang. Yeah. So I'm wondering how that's going to work, but...
It's a nice teaser. Well, I mean, it's a teaser. It's not a trailer. Sorry, it's a teaser.
Yeah.
I wasn't excited when I first heard about it. I mean, I liked the cast that they had put together, because Zac Efron's playing Fred. Gina Rodriguez is the one playing Velma. Amanda Seyfried is playing...
I wish Dallas were here.
Yeah.
He would have made a good joke.
Amanda Seyfried is playing Daphne. I wish that they had kept Matthew Lillard as Shaggy, because I was just listening to that Shaggy, and I was just like, Will Forte. I was like, you're doing a good job, but you're not quite Shaggy. But, it's cool.
Wait, Will Forte's Shaggy?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, I grew up watching Scooby-Doo a lot. Whenever I would go over to my great-grandparents' house, I would sit with my pop, and he had Cartoon Network, and we didn't have Cartoon Network.
Nice.
So me and Drew would sit there, and we would watch Cartoon Network with him. So a lot of the times it was Scooby-Doo. So I grew up on a lot of classic Scooby-Doo. Mm-hmm. So I kind of liked this trailer a lot. I also, growing up, I really loved A Pup Named Scooby-Doo.
Oh my God, that was the best show ever.
That was one of my favorite iterations of Scooby-Doo. And this seems to be like a combination of like A Pup Named Scooby-Doo and like the original Scooby-Doos that we grew up on, but just modernized for kids nowadays.
Yeah, for this new audience. Yes. Ugh, A Pup Named Scooby-Doo is the best.
I feel like this is going to be one of those movies that some people are going to see it and are going to be mad because it feels like stupid, and we're going to have to remind them that it was not made for them.
Yeah, it's made for children.
Yeah, it's made for kids my brother's age.
Yeah. It's not for us.
Yeah, I'm like, but like, I loved the original Scooby-Doo. A Pup Named Scooby-Doo was like my favorite thing to watch on Saturday mornings, and I loved 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo.
I don't know what that is.
That was good.
A Pump Named Scooby-Doo was great because of the dance breaks in the middle.
Yes!
They were and that would always include the monster somehow.
I will say that I am mildly upset that you didn't mention Zombie Island because that movie slaps.
I mean, Zombie Island's one of the best Scooby-Doo movies ever.
Scooby-Doo had like a resurgence when we were kids, but I think it's because of Cartoon Network. Like we all watched Cartoon
what was
Network.
it? Boomerang?
Yeah, it was like...
But it was also just on Cartoon Network.
Oh, good point.
No, I know, but like all of those like 1970s, 1960s cartoons had a huge resurgence. Because of Boomerang.
Oh my goodness, I was such a Jabberjaw fan.
Freaking Looney Tunes. I mean, every Latino ever is super into Looney Tunes. I don't know what it is, but we all like it.
Shout out to my friend Brendan, because me and him used to talk about Scooby-Doo quite a bit back at university, because he's a big Shaggy fan.
Of course.
He could play Shaggy so well. It would be amazing.
I was Velma for Halloween like 2 years ago.
Nice.
Scooby-Doo was like a classic.
Yeah.
My mom made me a skirt and everything.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Scooby-Doo's awesome. So I think I'm excited about this movie. It looks cute.
Yeah.
I'll probably take my mom because she loves Scooby-Doo. It was one of the few like shows that made it to El Salvador.
I'll take Devin.
Yeah,
Devin will like it, I'm sure. And Colin, did you want to bring up the name thing?
Yeah. So that is one part of the teaser that I don't like is that someone's asking Shaggy what Scooby's name is and he doesn't know. So he's like, his name is and then he happens to see that he has a box of Scooby snacks and says, oh, his name is Scooby. And it's like, that kind of blew my mind for a bit because I just always assumed that Scooby snacks were like, that like he made them to give to Scooby specifically.
I thought that's what they were.
Something, because like it doesn't make sense that is a brand that would exist.
I think at the back of my mind, that's what I also thought. But I think as I was watching the trailer, I was like, oh, it makes sense. He's named after the snacks because the snacks wouldn't be named after him.
See, I thought that they had gone, this is what I thought, that they were so famous that somebody made a snack after Scooby because he was their mascot. That's what I thought it was.
There are so many different ways that this Scooby snack thing could have came about.
No, because no one ever explained why there was Scooby snacks. They were just Scooby snacks.
Yeah. You know what else I liked that was Scooby-Doo related? I also like the James Gunn written live action Scooby-Doo movies.
Those were delightful.
I think I saw the first one, but I don't think I ever saw
the second one is not nearly as good as the first one, but the first one is
amazing,
crazy,
and it had
not
a good ass
children.
Cast. Well, it was at the time. They were definitely PG.
I was watching it and I was like, I don't know.
Well, but those jokes definitely went over our heads as children.
That was not for children. It was for teenagers.
I don't know, because we were like children when it came out, and it was. I thought it was advertised on
Actually,
like Nickelodeon.
You know how
and stuff.
I know it wasn't for kids? James Gunn wrote it to be a rated R Scooby-Doo movie.
Ooh.
So no, it was not made for us. That's all we've got for you guys today. Thank you guys for joining us once again. Oh, I guess I should do Dallas's usual ending. Why is Dallas not here?
Right? We need him.
All right. So shout out to Crown Digital for putting us up on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. That's Brandon and Io. Thank you again so much for all you guys' hard work.
So creative.
He actually usually thanks me immediately after, but I can't thank myself. That's
thanks
weird.
to me. Cool.
Thanks
we're good.
to me for doing post-production.
Thanks. You can find us on Twitter at y'all_different. Don't ask us about the underscore. You can also find us on Tumblr at Creative Differences Podcast. And you can find us on Facebook at Creative Differences. Just look us up. You guys can find the icon. And you guys are probably looking at it on your screens right now. Mm-hmm. Where can they find you guys?
You can find me on Twitter at Duck McGuck.
You can find me, Gaby, on Instagram at Stegosaurus. And I also wanted to say, so Scooby's not really Scooby's name. It's Scoobert.
It's Scoobert.
Yeah.
That's right.
Because I used to call my dog Scoobert when I was angry at him.
Anyway, to me, where can I find you?
And you guys can find me at Dreamy Films on Twitter and Instagram. Dreamy is spelled DREEMI. Thank you guys so much.
You can find Dallas on Twitter at King of the Furries.
Hey!
Yes!
That's a self-proclaimed title, by the way. Ask him. He'll hate it, but ask him.
Thank you guys.
Tweet at him.
Thank you guys again for joining us. We hope that you guys have a wonderful Christmas and that nobody breaks your heart the day after you give it to them.
All right, damn.
Last Christmas,
I gave you my heart.
and the very next day, you gave it away.
It's been different.
This year.
And we're still going. She's not stopping.